So my name is Gitanjali Saluja. I'm from the class of 2006 and I've actually just completed my PhD and I'll be joining the business school at the University of Technology at Sydney as a professor in the marketing department. My entire schooling in the small town in Ujjain in MP. Post that I moved for my undergrad to DU. So I did my undergrad in home science actually from Lady Irwin College at Delhi University. After that, I actually did something different. So I went to NIFT and I did a degree in fashion management. It's like a 2-year postgrad diploma. At the time, I wasn't really sure about what I really was interested in. So some of my friends were applying to this program, so then I decided to follow them. Once I had done that, I got a job with this very small apparel company called Unistyle Image in Delhi. And that's where I got my first exposure to marketing. So I worked with them for about a year and a half, and it was I learned a lot because it was a really small company, and I got to experience a lot of things, but it was tough work, and I realized that if I stay in this industry or with this company, I'm not really going to grow much. I started thinking about, because I loved marketing, I started thinking about how I could apply this a little better, and that's where the MBA came in. ISB at the time was it was building a good reputation, and I was also thinking at the time that if I take the GMAT and I don't get into ISB, I could still use that score to maybe apply to some schools in the US. So, but at that time, ISB was my first preference, and I was lucky enough to get into it. The ideal position for me would have been to join, Levers or P&G in like a brand manager role. That was what I really dreamt about doing after graduating from here. Coming to ISB was challenging and rewarding. I'd actually till the time I came to ISB, I used to be a topper. So throughout my school, throughout my undergrad, and even at NIFT, I did really well without having to make too much of an effort. But once I came here, I realized that I can't really depend on my ability to get me through. So I knew I would have to put in a lot of hard work. And the first few terms were extremely challenging because I had not done a lot of economics or statistics or a lot of the quant-based subjects or even finance earlier. So I struggled a bit through those. But having said that, we had study groups. So the day that we reached ISB, we were put in these study groups. And through the first 4 terms, which I thought were the toughest terms for me, it was my study group that actually helped me through everything. So we did projects together. If I was stuck, with my notes, or if I couldn't understand anything in the text, I would get help from people in my group. And I think I was very lucky to have a group that was, we looked out for each other and we just had fun together. So I know that not all groups in my batch were that lucky, but I was lucky enough to have that. And till today, and it's been 10 years now, I still am in touch with everybody from my group, and at least every few years we try and come and meet at Solstice. They were a big support for me initially. I think the network of people that you get to meet here, you meet people from so many diverse backgrounds and so many different age groups, income groups, from so many different parts of the country or even the world. It's just interesting to learn how they think about things and how they deal with issues, and I think that really helps one just broaden their horizons a little bit. So that, I think, was a big takeaway from me from this place. Also the kind of job opportunities that you get, the name that it gives you. So if you go out today and you tell people that you're from ISB, you don't have to say anything else. They know that you've done one of the best degrees that you can in the country. These would be some of the key takeaways that I have from here. During my final months at ISB, placement season had started, and I realized pretty soon that Levers was only going to pick, let's say, 2 out of the 50 that were interested in applying there. and getting a job there. So that was pretty much out. PNG, I think, didn't come at the time. I got a lot of marketing shortlists, and luckily Godrej came in for an FMCG role for their consumer goods company, and they took me into their management program. First couple of years, I rotated through different roles. I got to do a bit of sales, project management, brand management, and then after a year of doing that, I joined Hershey's, which at the time was merging with Godrej Foods, as a brand manager, and I got to relaunch some of the old Godrej products under the Hershey's umbrella. That was, I think, a really valuable experience. I really enjoyed it. How do you design and repackage an existing product? I think it was a great learning experience. And so at the time, I had to think a lot about how do consumers really think about a product. They should come intuitively, but a lot of the stuff actually that I learned at ISB, especially in my consumer behavior program, advertising, I actually used some of this information to help me go through this whole packaging project for this soy milk brand that we were working with. After that, I actually moved to Hong Kong because I got married. My husband relocated. In Hong Kong, it was tough to get a brand management role because there were language issues, so you need to know either Mandarin or Cantonese if you want to work in. I switched to marketing research with this company called TNS. It's a big marketing research company, and there was a bit of a role reversal. So instead of being on the branding side, I was on the servicing side. So that took a bit of an attitude adjustment, and I enjoyed it. I did it for about a year. It was interesting to work with different companies and see the issues that they were facing and the different brands that they're working with. It wasn't giving me the kind of growth that I really wanted. One of my classmates from ISB at the time had just started his PhD at Maryland in the US in consumer behavior, actually. That's when I started thinking that, maybe this is something that I could be interested in. HKUST in Hong Kong has a very good marketing department. So I went, met some of the professors, they encouraged me to apply. Once I got in, I thought about my decision because it was going to be a big career change moving from the industry into academia. I think it would be interesting to do some research and work with consumer behavior and work with some interesting problems. So I decided to make the switch, and I'm quite happy that I did. There were some very successful people with a lot of work experience, people who had been to some very good colleges for their undergrad and done some very impressive degrees from the IITs. It's not easy to make an impact when you're surrounded by people like this. But going through a program like this, I think it helps you develop some confidence that, yes, I can stand up with these people and be at par with these people, call myself a part of this group. So I think it gave me the confidence to deal with the world with more certainty. Another thing that really changed me, I think, was the network. I think I really value the relationships that I formed here, because the 1 year that you're here, it's a short period of time, but it's intense. You go through a lot of ups and downs, and you need the people around you to help you get through that. And I think the bonds and relationships that I've formed till today are probably some of the most important. Professionally, I still consult these people whenever I'm making a big career change or thinking about some major career decision. I still trust a lot of the people I met here to help me make the right decision.